This had been one of the saddest and hardest times in our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's life. The loss of his beloved wife, the loss of his uncle, and the painful journey to Ta'if, and his now unsafe position in Makkah. It had been sadness after sadness. It was during this period that Allah honoured the Prophet with a miracle. This miracle was so great that no one had ever received such an honour, and no one will ever receive it again after him. Just as Allah promises, surely with hardship comes ease. Allah gave the Prophet the amazing gift of a special journey called Al-Isra wal-Mi'raj. It was a truly beautiful and comforting gift which showed that Allah loved the Prophet very much. Let's find out what happens. Welcome to story time. One night, our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sleeping near the Kaaba in Makkah. While asleep, he was woken up by Angel Jibreel alayhi salam, who took the Prophet to the Zamzam well. There, the angel washed the Prophet's heart with Zamzam water. Do you remember? This is not the first time that this had happened. Angel Jibreel then poured wisdom and faith into the Prophet's heart. This was a special gift from Allah. Now they were ready for the miraculous journey. Waiting for them was a ride, and what a ride it was. Angel Jibreel alayhi salam had brought a beautiful animal from Jannah. It was called the Buraq. It was pure white in colour. It was slightly smaller than a horse, but bigger than a donkey. The Buraq was like no animal on earth. It was super fast. Just in one leap, it could travel as far as the eye could see. Can you just imagine that? Angel Jibreel held the harness as the Prophet ﷺ mounted the Buraq. The Buraq began to strut and neighed, so Angel Jibreel ﷺ tugged the harness and said to the Buraq, "Whoa, Buraq, why are you doing this? By Allah, no one more honoured by Allah has ever ridden you than the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam." Now, on hearing this, the Buraq got nervous and he began to sweat. With Jibreel alayhi salam sat at the front and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam sat behind him, off the Buraq went, whoosh, leaping through the starry night from Makkah to Masjid Al-Aqsa in Jerusalem. This was a journey that would normally take weeks, but the Buraq and its incredible speed did it in no time at all. Can you imagine how amazing the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam must have felt? After all the hardship and sorrow, Allah wanted to remind him just how special he really was, and indeed he was. In just a blink of an eye, they reached Masjid Al-Aqsa in Jerusalem. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam tied the Buraq to the ring on the wall. This wall of Masjid Al-Aqsa is now known as the Buraq Wall or the Western Wall. He then made his way into the blessed grounds of Masjid Al-Aqsa. There were a lot of people gathered in Masjid Al-Aqsa. There were so many people everywhere. Then someone called for prayer. Everyone stood in two lines, waiting for someone to lead the prayer. Just then, Angel Jibreel alayhi salam took the Prophet's blessed hand and asked him to lead the prayer. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam led the prayers, with all the people following him. After the prayer ended, Angel Jibreel alayhi salam asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, do you know who prayed behind you? Their prophet replied, no. The angel said, it was every single prophet ever sent by Allah who read behind you. Subhanallah, this was no ordinary prayer. Allah had brought together every single prophet. That's 124,000 prophets ever sent to earth, from Prophet Adam alayhi salam to Prophet Isa alayhi salam, to read Salah together, led by the greatest Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And this all happened in Masjid Al-Aqsa, the only place on earth that this has ever happened. How special is Masjid Al-Aqsa? Afterwards, the angel Jibreel alayhi salam offered the Prophet 2 cups. The Prophet ﷺ had to choose between one cup filled with milk and the other cup filled with wine. The Prophet ﷺ looked at the cups and chose to drink the milk. He had never drank wine before because it was against his nature. When the Prophet ﷺ chose to drink the milk, the angel responded, Subhanallah, praise be to Allah. Allah has guided you to the right path. Oh, this amazing journey doesn't end here. There's even more. But you need to wait until tomorrow to find out what happens next. This miraculous journey is called Al-Isra, which means the night journey of the Prophet ﷺ from Makkah to Masjid Al-Aqsa. Allah tells us about the night journey in the Holy Quran in Surah Al-Isra. Limitless in His glory is Allah, who transported His servant by night from the sacred masjid in Makkah to Masjid Al-Aqsa in Jerusalem, whose surroundings Allah has blessed, so that Allah might show him of Allah's signs. Indeed, Allah alone is the one who hears all and sees all. Surah Al-Isra. These verses remind us just how important and special Masjid Al-Aqsa is, and these verses should help us feel even more love for Masjid Al-Aqsa. However, when we talk about Masjid Al-Aqsa, many people get confused. Some people think Masjid Al-Aqsa is the Dome of the Rock, which is a famous golden domed masjid. Or some people think Masjid Al-Aqsa is Musalla al-Qibli, the grey domed masjid. But in fact, Masjid Al-Aqsa is not a single building, but it is an area of land. In fact, Masjid Al-Aqsa is actually 35 acres of land, and this whole area is blessed and most precious. You maybe didn't know this, but Masjid Al-Aqsa is the second masjid built on earth by Prophet Adam alayhi salam. He built Masjid Al-Aqsa 40 years after building the Holy Kaaba. Masjid Al-Aqsa was rebuilt thousands of years later by another special prophet, Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, and his son, Prophet Ishaq alayhi salam. Throughout time, many more prophets and pious people have lived in Jerusalem and prayed in Masjid Al-Aqsa and took care of it. And this should always remind us that all Muslims should love Masjid Al-Aqsa and visit it whenever they can, just as Prophet ﷺ advised us. And this is where our story ends today, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for day 4 of Aqsa Week, kids.